All right, here's one we've been waiting for. The biggest championship game every year. The SEC Championship, number 14 LSU versus number 1 Georgia at 4 p.m. in Atlanta in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This will be the Dogs' 5th appearance in the SEC Championship in 7 years under Kirby Smart. They've only won it once, 2017 against Auburn. The last time LSU won the West, they beat the Dogs handily for the SEC title, 2019. Did the Dogs get to return the favor this year? I mean, the Tigers are without Joe Burrow, Edwards-Helaire, Justin Jefferson, Thaddeus Moss, and they might not even have Harold Perkins, and he's actually on the team this year. Let's spell it out. The Dogs come in undefeated, being led by walk-on and super-duper senior Stetson Bennett. The Tigers coming in with the possibility to be the first 2-loss team to make the playoff if they beat Georgia, except they dropped the third L last weekend to 4-7 Texas A&M. The Dogs haven't just rebuilt, they reloaded, and they've proved it all season. Now, that's not to say the Tigers haven't done the incredible. They won the SEC West, the toughest division in college football, in Brian Kelly's first year. They knocked off top 15 teams like Ole Miss and Alabama. I mean, LSU is the reason that Ohio State is in the 5 spot looking for a chance to sneak in and not Alabama. An incredible season. This is definitely going to be a game, and I'm excited to see how it goes. Isaac, what do you think just about LSU, definitely being knocked out of the playoffs and what this game would mean to LSU even if they won it?
I was getting ready to say their playoff chances this year are like the chances of rain in Death Valley on a Saturday night. Never. Now, with that being said, I'm still kind of speechless about the loss to A&M, just to be honest with you. And a lot of these, I'm in a couple of LSU groups on Facebook, and everybody's like, oh, I'm so happy we beat Ole Miss and Alabama and we won the West. But it's like, listen, a 3-loss team winning the West is like a blind person passing the driver's ed test. It just doesn't happen. And I'm kind of enthralled that they are appeased by that amount of success. But that's neither here nor there. I think it'll be a good game. Kudos to Coach BK. Got the clinching the West in his first year. That's a big deal. Whether the West had a down year or not, Bama is the standard. And for you to win that division in your first year, he won his first game against Bama, won the West, first year in the SEC, on and on and on. A bunch of firsts for the Tigers this year. Harold Perkins is a great player. I'm concerned about him. I'm concerned about Jaden Daniels. He tweaked his ankle last weekend. I read on Tuesday he was in a boot. He's probably going to be okay. He avoided a high ankle sprain. All of that said, though, Georgia's favored by 17.5. It was originally, I think, 14 or 15. Of course, it went up a little bit after the loss to A&M. Georgia with the matchup predictor, 83%. As much as I hate it, as dominant as the West has been, I like I think the Tigers can give up a good fight if they show up, which they did not do in College Station last weekend. But for the first time this year, and it breaks my heart, I'm going to go with the Dogs in this one. I think they'll beat LSU. I don't necessarily know that they'll cover. I think maybe by 17. I think maybe they just come in a little bit under on the spread. But unfortunately, I do think the Dogs get it, and if they do, I hope they go all the way. But I think Georgia takes the 1 seed, gets this win this weekend, and goes on to the CFP.
See, that's where I'm with you on that one. I'm definitely calling the Dogs to win this game, but the point spread is what gets me. I don't know if UGA will cover. I'll say this. If Harold Perkins and Jaden Daniels, basically the leader of the defense and leader of the offense, are out with injuries, then Georgia definitely covers the spread because Stetson's gonna light up the secondary. Our running game will not be able to be stopped. I think that we'll cover the spread handily if they're out. But if they do play, it'll make it a little bit harder. I don't think they cover the spread. But just to be official, I'm going to go UGA wins and covers the spread. I call UGA to win by 20. That's my prediction. Joey is also picking Georgia to win this one for obvious reasons. I mean, it's like we talked about on Wednesday. Georgia, they're just the best team in the country. There's enough of a gap between Georgia and Michigan and the rest of them. Georgia's going to win this one pretty handily, I think. And I know it sucks to say. And you know what? If the Tigers win it, man, good for them. And they can be the SEC champions, and we'll still be in the playoffs. So that's not a knock. That's just facts. Personally, I really want to be number 1 because I'd like to play the first round of the playoffs in Atlanta. That would be pretty cool. Basically have the home field advantage in the playoffs. And as a fan, I mean, look, as an analyst, that may not be exactly fair, but to be fair, the other playoff site is in Arizona, and if USC makes the playoffs, then it's not really fair that they barely got in the playoff with a loss, and we're going to play on their home turf. So that's that. That's the SEC championship.